Hi, Gary here from Audi Kitchener-Waterloo. We have a unique and special opportunity at the dealership today to take a look at Audi's first fully electric vehicle, the e-tron. We're also getting an opportunity to walk around the outside, point out some of the neat features. We're going to hop on inside, take a look at how the fit and finish measures up, and then we're going to take this car out on the road in Kitchener-Waterloo and see how it measures up on a test drive. I can't wait to get inside this car. I've been waiting a long time. Let's hop on in and see how she goes. All right, so first impressions, just getting into the car. It's nice. The fit and finish here is really clean and tight. Do a little stress test on it. When I'm pushing, not getting any creaks. I'd say that this is actually feels like it's built a little bit tighter than your average Audi, which is saying a lot. I really like the way all of the lines come together. Audi obviously does a great job in design. You'll see here, we've got this empty panel. We're not going to be getting those rear view cameras that point directly back and give us a digital rear view mirror in Canada for the time being. So that's what's missing there. But I really like these handles. They're super cool, super tight, really kind of stylized design. I'm gonna turn it on. Oh, you always gotta love that little Audi charm. Let's back it out. Let's get it on the road and see how this functions. That's a little different. So the gear shifter knob here has this little like back and forth control feature that lets you put it forward into the reverse, down into the drive. I think that's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but I look forward to it. So we've got our 360-degree camera on the backup. Should be easy to get it out of the showroom here. Well, that's a strange sensation. When you take your foot off the brake, no roll. It's literally like off until I press the gas. So let's back this out. Super easy to see with the cameras, lots of room. That's so quiet. Just feels like it's drifting out. Put it in drive. Let's get this out on the road. So first impressions in the parking lot, it's very solid. You can sort of feel like a low center of gravity in it. It's also really quiet. You don't get a lot of noise off it. Let's see how it accelerates out of this corner. You get like a little bit of like a whir. I'm not sure if Audi's added that or if that's just the sound the electric motors make, but it kind of adds to this nice driving experience. So far on the road, it feels good. It feels very taut, very tight. That low center of gravity. So in the e-tron, you've got a 700 kilogram battery. Now that's really heavy. That makes this car over 5,000 pounds. The thing is, it doesn't feel like it. As you're driving on the road, it feels kind of nimble, a little agile. It handles a little different than I'd expect an SUV to handle. It's got all of its weight in the bottom. So the battery packs sit on the floor and basically go from axle to axle. And that's where all the weight sits. And as you're going around turns, instead of feeling that like roll that you'd usually feel on an SUV, it actually feels a little sporty. You feel the bottom of the car kind of push, but you don't feel out of control. I have to say, for a car this weight, it feels pretty nimble. Like in every Audi, you do have the opportunity to select your drive mode. I haven't even checked to see which one we're in. What do we got here? We're in dynamic. Okay, so this is like the sporty, fast version drive mode that you're gonna wanna use if you kind of like to get that get up and go, which is exactly where I wanna be right now, because I kind of wanna let this loose a little bit. So I'm gonna give it some gas. Oh, not even gas. I'm gonna give it some pedal. Okay, so lots of energy there. You get pushed back in your seat a little bit. You do ramp up pretty high in speed pretty fast. especially for a car of this size. I have to say, it felt pretty good. I did giggle like a little schoolgirl there for a second, so that's a good sign. Definitely not lacking in power. That torque hits you like instantaneously, like right as soon as you get that foot down. Yeah, let's do it again. So great passing power, great pick up and go, even on the move. You're not really giving up anything having the electric motors on this vehicle. I do have to say, that is the impression I get when I'm driving around in the e-tron. This is an electric vehicle, but I feel like I've given up none of those Audi qualities. It's got really nice fit and finish. It feels tight on the road. It's got lots of get up and go, and it's electric. So we tried the dynamic. We got a little feel for the sportiness of it. Let's put this in the comfort and see how that luxury translates into the electric vehicle. So it's just raising it in. So the car is going to sit a little bit higher. We're going to have a little softer suspension. And it's kind of strange. I don't know if it's because it's so quiet, but I can instantly feel a softer ride. And it is nice and smooth. And listening around, I can pretty much just hear the other cars on the road. There's a slight whir, and that's it. I'm pretty impressed so far. Let's take it for a little bit longer. So going down a couple choppier roads to test out that comfort drive mode, it was really, really good. You do still feel the road, which is nice, because I gotta say, one of the great things about driving this and what gives me that good vibe that Audi's done the right thing here is that this does have a nice driving experience. I'm not giving up all of that for the technology and the electric motors in the front and the back, and I still have my all-wheel drive and Quattro, but it still has that little whir, that little bit of engine noise from the motors, that little bit of, when I'm decelerating and using the brake, really makes this feel like similar. I'm kind of having a similar vibe as to when I drove a Q8. It's got a lot of presence, and that might be the weight and the slightly wider wheelbase. But yeah, this is a good feeling. I'm going to open it up again. Yeah, that's not getting old for me anytime soon. One of the nice things I really like about what Audi's done here with their electric vehicle is the infotainment screens are awesome. But my favorite part about it, they just didn't take an iPad and glue it to the dashboard. It's all built in. I've got 3 screens here. I've got one showing me like a satellite view of real buildings. I've got one showing me all my infotainment. I've got one showing me my climate control system. And the nice thing about it is that the actual touch is very responsive. I'm not digging around. I'm not looking for stuff. When I swipe, it swipes, which is really important while I'm driving. I don't want to be fiddling around with a bunch of gadgets or some strange user interface that doesn't feel intuitive. This does feel intuitive. So we've been at it for a little while now. We've gotten a little bit of feel for how it drives, played around with accelerating a little bit, didn't get too crazy, did some handling with it, felt how it pulls, felt how it rocks, and I'm going to try applying the brakes a little aggressively to see if this does feel like a heavy car when I'm braking in it. Let's find out. All right, so we've got it up to about 60 here, and I'm just going to do an aggressive stop. That wasn't bad. Honestly, that was pretty smooth. It didn't feel like I was really jamming that pedal down. I didn't have that sense that I was in a big, heavy car struggling to come to a stop. And I'm sure that has to do with how the engines pull the power away from the wheels as I apply the brake, which apparently also will recharge your battery. So if you're going downhill a lot and you're choosing to brake or tap it a little bit, or you're downshifting, you'll recharge, which is kind of cool. So as I'm pulling back up to the dealership, my final impressions on this is Audi's done a bang-up job. but it's a lot different experience than driving your typical electric vehicle. You've got that sensation of a car. Like, I'm not looking around and seeing anything too out of the ordinary here. It feels at home. This is an Audi. It's also an electric vehicle, and you're getting all of the luxury that you'd expect to find in the fit and finish. In fact, in some areas, it's even a little bit nicer than your standard Audi. The materials are super soft to the touch. Everything's really tightly put together. The design lines are all really cool and really sharp. It just takes a little getting used to that. Take your foot off the brake, nothing happens. There's little reminders as you're driving that this is an electric vehicle, which I'm sure you'll get over in no time. But for me, it's all still fresh, it's all still neat, it's all still super cool.